We've now seen the application bar. I'd like to take a look on the right-hand side of the screen. This area over here contains what are called panels. The panels allow us access to various information about the document or about objects that we're either trying to create or modify within InDesign. Select the Pages panel and see what pops up. Simply click on it to activate it. You'll notice that the Pages panel pops out from the side. Also nested with it is the Links panel. Click on the top of the Links panel to show what's in there. We see a number of items in the Links panel. We'll explore that in detail in another chapter. Go back to the Pages panel by clicking its tab. You'll also notice that over on the right, the buttons move when we select a different panel. If I'd like to see the swatches in the job, I can simply click the Swatches panel and that will also pop out. You can see that there are a lot of colors used in this document. All of these panels are customizable. If I'd like the Swatches panel to float by itself, all I have to do is click on its name and drag it out and let it go. Now the Swatches panel is a floating panel. I can take other panels and attach them to it. For instance, I could take the Links panel and drag it onto the floating panel where Swatches is simply by clicking its name and dragging it onto the panel. Now can you see how the lines turn blue around the Swatches panel? This lets me know that I'm placing the Links panel in with the Swatches panel and that it's going to go into that place. You can hide the Pages panel by either clicking this arrow or by clicking the top of the Pages panel. Now we have the Swatches panel and the Links panel bound together in a floating panel. I could take this floating panel and dock it onto the right-hand side again simply by dragging it over to the right, and you can see how a blue line appears underneath the existing panel. That will take the Swatches and the Links panel and dock them to the bottom. There are many more panels available to us, and they live under the Window menu. If you select the Window panel, then you can see all of the panels that are available to us. For instance, you might like to use the Attributes panel. If we pull down to Attributes, it will pop out as a floating panel. We can then dock it with the other panels simply by grabbing the top bar and dragging it over and snapping it in place underneath. Panels don't have to live above and below each other. They can also live side by side. Go back to the Window menu and grab the Effects panel. Let's dock that to the left of the Pages panel. So if we grab the bar and move it up next to the Pages panel, you can see that a blue line appears. When we let go, the Effects panel will now snap to the left of the Pages panel. You may have noticed a pop-up menu that appears that's called Collapse to Icons. If I click it, the panel goes back to icon mode. If I click it again, the panel now looks like the palettes that we used to see in Creative Suite 1 and 2. Click the bar once again to collapse it to icons. You can also shrink the panel so that they're only icons. If you move your cursor to the left-hand side of the panel, click and drag in, then you'll collapse only to the icon without any name. If you do the same with the other row, click and drag to the right, now we've got an interface that's very small and won't interfere with our work. In order to use a panel, all you have to do is click its icon. So click the icon for the Pages panel, and the Pages panel pops right up. Click the icon again, and the Pages panel collapses. We've mentioned the toolbar before. The toolbar can also expand to a 2-column toolbar. If you click the icon at the top of the tool panel, you'll see that it expands to 2 columns, just like it used to be in Creative Suite 1 and 2. I prefer more real estate, so I'm going to set it back to a single column by clicking the icon. There are a few more things I'd like to show you about the interface itself before we go on to the control panel. If you go to the Window menu, you'll see a new entry called Application Frame. Pull down to Application Frame and see what happens. For the Macintosh users, this is going to feel very strange. What we're looking at is what's very comfortable for the Windows users, where the entire application fits inside of a single window. Macintosh users are used to applications that have many components that float on the screen. By having an application frame, the entirety of the InDesign interface fits into one window that makes it easier to manage. You can expand the application frame to fill the entire available window space simply by clicking the Expand button on the bar. There are some things you need to notice about the application frame view as opposed to the regular view. First of all, document windows now appear in tabs. We We have only one document open at this time, but if we had multiple documents, then a number of tabs would appear just above the existing document window. Another thing that you'll notice is that the document takes up all of the existing space between the tools on the left and the panels on the right. This is important because if you use the application frame mode, then you'll never have to hunt for the lower right-hand corner of the document window. Expand the effects panel, and you'll see that the document window shrinks to accommodate it. Collapse it back to icons, and you'll see that the document window expands again.